space, time. These are the excuses that we use to say and do whatever we want to on Marvel's What If. Join me as I tell you about all kinds of cool stories that doesn't really matter to the main Marvel universe. What's up, everybody? Trinity here. Welcome back to Second Street. I hope you're all having a very good day today. Today, we are going to have a review and live discussion of What If, the season finale, episode 9. What if the Watcher broke his wedding vows? And so stay tuned, for the rest of the video. I will get into spoilers, and I'll let you know when that is. I usually start off kind of giving you my non-spoiler review of the episode, and then I get in and interact with you all in the chats as we talk about some of the spoilers and some of the things that happened in this episode and what we think about them. Now, I gotta say, this episode definitely one of the better episodes out of all the episodes that we've had here out of the What If series. I think I think by this time, I remember those first like 3 or 4 episodes. Everything, like from the voice acting to the music to the way everything kind of played out, it seemed like there was a little bit of a disconnect there for me. It seemed like the quality wasn't quite as up to par as far as production values of the voice acting, the music, just like the score and everything kind of playing together. It seemed a little disjointed. And I got to tell you, these last few episodes have really brought a lot of that home. They've really tightened it up as far as I think about like pacing and the voice acting along with the score and things like that. It's just definitely gotten better throughout the course of this show. Now we've got a lot of returning voices, a lot of people coming in voicing their same characters. Obviously, we had Chadwick Boseman, we got Lake Bell coming in to be Black Widow. You know what? Is Scarlett Johansson gonna come back now? Is she gonna come back now and make some appearances now that she's kind of settled with Disney? Everything's all good, right? We're doing Tower of Terror for Christ's sakes, right? Oh man, I don't know. Well, or I mean, hey, you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Lake Bell actually get all buff like Marvel style and come in and play a Black Widow. Hey, why not? Why not? Might as well, right? You know, the one thing I really wish about all of these, especially this episode, considering, after the last episode, we know what we got here with Ultron coming in and playing his part. I really wish they could have got James Spader to come in and voice Ultron, man. Like that would have been the absolute best. And you know what would have even been cooler is if they would have had man, why all of a sudden am I blanking on Paul Bettany's name? It would have been great, even better, if they had James Spader and Paul Bettany merged together, doing a voiceover together. Where they I guess blend their voices to be the Vision Ultron. That would have been absolutely great. But again, the voice acting in this episode from all the actors and everything seemed a lot better. I think the one thing I think is definitely the weirdest throughout all these. Anyway. The thing is I think Jeffrey Wright, and maybe it's just like the character, the animations they do for Uatu, the Watcher here. A lot of them it seems like really stiff, and it's not like acting or anything. It's not like the actor being stiff or anything because it's the animation. But he seems like really stiff and very, I don't know, just kind of, I don't know. I think they could have animated his character a lot better. Even when they did in the last episode where they had him battling with Ultron and everything, a lot of those animations seemed, I don't know, I wouldn't even say they seemed rushed, but they seemed like, I think he could have done better. Like, I don't know. But altogether, I think this episode was one of the better episodes. Definitely a lot of cameos in this episode that we didn't really see for a whole lot. Obviously, we got Ego in there. Just bringing in all the other characters. We see Pepper Potts. We see Shuri, who's currently getting canceled. Is she getting canceled again right now? I don't know, man. Can't keep up with the weirdos these days. But altogether, I gotta say, this episode definitely one of the better episodes. It kind of does some stuff, but it leaves a lot of it hanging in the balance as well. Obviously, we know we're getting a season 2. Definitely some stuff happens in this episode where you're probably gonna wonder, like, hey,
what's going on here. And definitely, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You don't have to give us and show us every single thing that's going to play into this. You can leave some of it a mystery, and if we're going to see that in the second season, all the better for you. Left something out there for us to learn, and then to go along, and then maybe obviously a good way to start off the next season with something that people have been anticipating. So I think, yeah, I think that's really about it. Definitely, like I said, voice acting coming together. These last few episodes, everything all together. The series overall, I'm gonna have to let it wait for a while, guys, and then see how I feel about this series again. I'll probably wait a few weeks, a month, and then maybe rewatch it. Just give it a binge watch and watch them all the way through. Because I kind of done that here over the past couple weeks, as I haven't been really able to do much, and rewatching a lot of these episodes. And I've talked about it, is to me they're all ranked just kind of how they came out in their release order here on Disney Plus. This one right here, like, I don't know that I enjoyed it even as much as Loki. Loki, like I said, is probably the one I've liked the least so far, as like my rankings. Like, it would be the third one in line. And it's really kind of hard to say here, because there's some things about the Loki series are just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe some of the same way that some people feel about the What If series here as well. Now, the interesting thing about this What If series is, a lot of these uh, versions of these characters. When are we going to see them in the Marvel Cinematic Universe again? Because at some point they're going to use some of these other characters and have probably live versions of them coming to the screen, right? I would think they would. I mean, sure they could. I mean, I have no problem if they take all of these characters and all the situations and everything and keep basically those versions in the What If series. That's cool. But I mean, imagine if we had they actually did a thing with maybe they got Haley Atwell and they got her all Captain America up, right? That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, just as something as we would see in a fight scene or something, or just basically it could be a whatever, a multiverse version, Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness or anything, or maybe in the Secret Wars coming up. Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, just for those reasons, obviously, because we still need our main characters and timeline of characters with things like that. They can't get too sloppy with the continuity. Just I mean, you can't keep going back to it, right? Like, eventually we're gonna want to keep it all the same universe, not do it, and because you can't do it for too long. People are gonna only buy into the gimmick for so long. I mean, maybe only for about 15 days. But anyway, getting into let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, though. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and then we're gonna get into some spoilers here in just a minute. We'll hop here into the live chats and see who all we've got here. We've got B Grissom, Air Spider 23, Jared Dyer. How are you doing, my man? We got Dan the Man, guys. Go check out Dan the Man's channel. He did, him and his friends did a they did a like a short film over there, and he's got it released on his channel. Make sure you go check that out. Random Bad Creator, thank you so much for being here, my man. Mike, Licensed to Shill Porter, and Lord Veedo. What is up, fellas? What is that? Trinity is scaring me. Yeah, it was my favorite episode, says Mike. All right, yeah. Driving, listening, love the episode. What is up, Reefer Man? Guys, Reefer Man he just dropped a video, his reaction and everything to it this morning. Make sure you go check it out. Daniel Fisher, thank you so much for being here. Binge might be better. Yeah, definitely. And I kind of feel that way about all of these series as well. Like, I like the weekly thing. I like the weekly releases, just one episode. I like that. But I do ultimately like that. But then after they're all done, let it all set, and then give it a good binge and see how it. Because I mean, at most you're looking at a couple hours. A couple hours to sit there and binge through them all. And yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely worth that. Jared Dyer says, enjoy these last two episodes the most. Didn't feel worth watching to get there. And like, see, I don't mind all that. Like I said, some of the episodes I liked more than others. The one that we definitely really have, like, the most questions coming out of is still one of the episodes that I was, kind of one of my favorites was The one where Hank Pym shit on Nick Fury's big week. I kind of like that one. You know? I like that one. Yeah. Fucking go Hank Pym, man. Right? But I don't know. Hey, that's just me. That's just me. Right? And anyway. So yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and get into some spoiler talk about the episode. Let me bring up a couple of the notes I have here. Let's see. Now, we're starting at. Obviously, we had the intro with all the characters, Uatu going and picking each one from their different universes to go out there and pick up. Obviously we've seen like it started off with Captain Carter, where she was there just like at the very beginning of Winter Soldier, right? Just like at the very beginning of Winter Soldier, where she's there getting ready to jump off down to the Lemurian Star. Where remember who was on the Lemurian Star initially? Yeah, right. Oh man, what was that shitbag's name? You know who I'm talking about. Man, didn't he even cross over into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too? He did. You know who I'm talking about though. Sitwell, Jasper Sitwell. But yeah, they had him, where they were going down there to get him. But what we found out at the very end, like I said, we're into spoilers, guys. So if you don't want spoilers for this, it's time to go. At the very end, they drop, when Uatu drops her back off after the mission, they drop her off. And now before, what they were after was all kinds of these files and everything. And after Zola's algorithm is what they were initially after, all those files that Black Widow went and downloaded while they were there, right? And they were also there to see, what else was on the ship, what Batroc was up to. And we see that same kind of thing go down here. But we see at the very end of the episode, when Peggy gets back, she ends up beating up Batroc and they get him. And then we see that Natasha tells her about what's going on, what else they found there on the Lemurian Star, right? And we see that it was we didn't actually, and here's the thing, is we didn't actually see Steve Rogers in the Hydra Stomper, but they showed the Hydra Stomper when she, when they went and they opened the door there, right? It's very interesting, is that not? Where'd they get the Hydra Stomper? Is Steve in that Hydra Stomper still? And if so, does that mean that he ended up not making it out of, did they get captured and everything? When at the same spot where Agent Carter ended up, or Captain Carter ended up leaving that time there when they were fighting, well, the squid armed being, the tentacled being, to be discussed about who you guys think that is. Let me know who you guys think it is. Who is it that's behind all of this? Who is that's behind all of this with all the tentacled being? Who do you think it is? It's very interesting if you get into some of this kind of stuff, looking into some of these Lovecraftian tentacled beasts. Very cool, whole bunch of different characters out there. You got Chthon, Cthulhu, and even man. Well, I lost the other. There's so many different ones of them. You even got another thing like I was talking about the other day, watching the Agent Carter series, is Leviathan. This is another one of those same kind of sea monsters, but this one's more like more of biblical references as opposed to necessarily H.P. Lovecraft. So very interesting stuff there, especially when you consider what we've seen. If you've seen the Shang-Chi movie and everything, I really kind of feel like one of the things we've got here going on is kind of this resurgence of Hydra. I think we've got this resurgence of Hydra going on here, and through a lot of these characters that we're getting here, because remember, Red Skull and all of them, they were basically Hail Hydra, right? Yes, Hail Hydra, and we'll get more into that in just a few minutes. But we see that that's kind of what they worship, is this this otherworldly kind of god, and also this same thing is the same kind of creature that has been talking to people, just like in the movie Shang-Chi. And we also even see that the Dweller in Darkness and all his little minions, they all seem to have like these little tentacles and all that stuff too. So that's essentially what we're talking about here, is a lot of these different, like I said, Lovecraftian type beings. So very, very interesting with all of that. But then, again, they're plucking people from their, oh, come on. From their time, from their different eras. Obviously, we got Ego, Quill, and T'Challa, where he shows up to take off when Ego is sitting there trying to, I guess, he actually got off his lazy ass and went and got his son. And then obviously when they went and got Killmonger, where he was at Black Panther at that point, and you guys, I mean, we all know what kind of piece of shit he is, right? Like, come on. And then the interesting thing is that they picked up Thor in Vegas also, and then we get back to this room. It's a bar, and it's something that Doctor Strange, or our Supreme Strange, ended up conjuring up out of Peggy's memories. Something that would seem really familiar to her. And they get there, and what's interesting is as they're all sitting there mingling, what was it? Thor ended up coming, and he had one of those Ultron bot heads, and he's sitting there, and he laid it on, and he laid it on the counter, and you see Eric Killmonger, or should I just call him Black Panther at this point? Should I call him Black Panther, the Killmonger version here? I don't know. We see him there, and he's taking an interest in it. He's like, what we got here? And he's very interested, and we see him kind of looking at it at various times throughout the episode. But you know what's interesting about that Ultron head, that bot head? Remember, what was it? Spider-Man Far From Home. Remember, he goes out on that. Wasn't that? No. That was the first one. It was Homecoming. And he gets on that. Remember, because he was on that truck that was taking the stuff back to. You remember Tony Stark's cleanup service? I can't even remember what the hell they called it now. All of a sudden, what did they call it? Anyway, but they were the cleanup people who went in and cleaned up after all the big stuff. And they remember after that point they had that Ultron bot head with the red eyes and everything, and he had one there. How come nobody's talking about this? Remember? Remember? Hey, anything can happen in a multiverse, right? Multiverse. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you so much to Felicity Poobell with a $5 super chat. Says, how's my favorite toxic male doing, Trinity? Saving my thoughts on the episode and overall show for Sunday's stage. Hello, hope everyone was well. You know what? You guys are gonna have to message me and let me know when that is, when that goes on, because I always forget. But I need to make it for one of those. But I thought that thing about the Ultron head was very interesting. Now, obviously we get them there. They have their little pep talk. They get their Chinese takeout. They go, we all got to sit around and eat some food. And then, they deem them the guardians of the multiverse. Now, the interesting thing here, too, is one of the things I was talking about even after, what was the episode a couple weeks ago with Party Thor. And, he says, I excel at attracting unwanted attention, right? And one of the things I was talking about is he a herald, like similar to a herald of Galactus? Because one of the things Jane Foster was looking at when he arrived in Vegas was him arriving. She said this same anomaly happened 18 months ago on star Alpha Icarus, which was this other planet that had met its demise after this same anomaly had happened there. She asked him if he was there on that planet, and he laughed and said, "Oh yeah, we were there." And we partied, had a good time, but yeah, don't worry, we got everybody out of there. We got everybody was good. Even the goat got home. The goat named Gary or something like that. And he was talking about these kinds of things, and I've been talking about, like, is he a herald here? Recently in the comics, in the Donny Cates run, he was a herald of Galactus. Thor was, and I would see how that might be possible too, because the same anomaly that happened. That's what she talked about. And he was like, oh, I was barely a planet. But that's ultimately what he was doing, was attracting unwanted attention on these planets. We see that's exactly what brought Ultron and his bots to Vegas there when he was fighting. was the unwanted attention that he attracts. I don't think it's any stretch of the imagination to think that, maybe he's been attracting Ultron the whole time. Maybe it is Galactus. We've seen when Ultron went and did his thing when he was fighting with Uatu last week. We see he went and he was all huge, and it looked like he was swallowing up a little universe there, right? And it looked just like Galactus. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff there. Then let's see. Now the other interesting thing is kind of what they were after when they went and finally fought with when they went and fought with Ultron. Is they were really after the Soul Stone. I thought that was kind of interesting. We see they all kind of had this plan. They ended up kind of jumping in, and T'Challa went in and got they were after the Soul Stone. But I thought it was kind of weird. Like, what was it? The little machine they used, and they put the Soul Stone in it, and that powered this what was it, the Infinity Cruncher or whatever, to get the rest of the stones. And it's basically like those machines you see that they have. They got the little teeth. They like crunch it. Like went after the stones and did that. But like this machine only works in your own universe. Kind of like supposedly the stones are supposed to work only in their own universe. I don't know. And the interesting thing, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be talking about that too. Is about the different universes and the stones working in whatever universe. Maybe once you get all of them. Because at that point, you're really like these characters, like especially like in the comics, they become omnipotent. They were all knowing. They could see the future. They could see the past. They could see everything that was going to be happening, right? So it definitely makes me wonder if there's some of that going on here. Once they have all of them, not just one or two or three, like having all of them. But I don't know. Let's see. But I thought it was very interesting, and especially there when we seen they were fighting Ultron and they were trying to get away from him, and they dropped all the zombies and everything there, and it was Wanda who was ultimately there to fight with him as they tried to duck out. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they did some cool stuff in this episode. It seemed like a lot of it was kind of fan servicey, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either, because I mean, look at Avengers Endgame. They did plenty of fan service stuff in there that was pretty cool. They did. Come on, hey, I'm telling you, don't tell me you did not like seeing Captain Marvel get knocked the fuck out by Thanos with that Power Stone. Don't lie to me. If you're gonna lie, let me know down in the comments below. I think you lying. I think you like that. I know everybody loves seeing that, right? Anyway, so yeah, some very interesting stuff, and then we see as they're sitting there, in this reality that they hop to, they're trying to get. I might be out of time there with where they were trying to get rid of the stone, and Black Widow ends up stepping in, right? Because they were tossing it all back and forth. She ends up stepping in. Well, they were all fighting against Ultron and everything. Everything was going all crazy. But then they ended up using, oh man, the arrow of the great Dr. Arnim Zola. Hail Hydra. And they remember they used that USB drive from a couple episodes ago? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they used it and they shot it into Ultron's eye. And they did that with the help of Peggy Carter. She rode her little motorcycle up there. Didn't she ride the motorcycle up there? Was it? Did she jump off? I can't remember. What's funny is I watched it like 4 or 5 times. Okay, like three. But yeah, so they ended up yeah, you know what? And that was something else too. But they ended up kind of putting together this thing to get Dr. Arnim Zola to download into Ultron. But that brings you back to when Ultron went and used that attack, like he was getting ready to completely explode all the planets and everything in there. He released that attack, and then Doctor Strange went and took all that power and swallowed it back up. Right? I thought that was some pretty crazy shit they got going on there with that. Supreme Strange, definitely capable of doing a lot of crazy shit. Cause like that dude's crazy, man. Like, yeah, I'm motherfucker crazy. You know what I mean? Um, but then yeah, obviously, there at the end we see the great Doctor Arnim Zola, who gets finally gets into Ultron, and that's yeah, we see kind of exactly what we would expect. He goes in, fights with Ultron, he ends up taking over, and then he ends up wanting control of everything. He's got all the stones and everything, and so then he ends up going and basically duking it out with Killmonger over it. And their battle was kind of going back and forth because what Killmonger did was he took and he used probably, I would guess, a vibranium blend. Well, I guess Ultron was vibranium too in the first place, and used all of his armor and shit there to suit up for battle. And they were battling it out for the stones there, and that's when they ended up trapping them in this little universe. And now Supreme Strange is supposed to be sitting there, keeping an eye on them. He's kind of being a watcher of his own. So I don't know. Some very interesting things there. Some very interesting things going on with that. And then obviously we seen Uatu went and dropped all of the heroes back off in their respective timelines, with the exception of Natasha Romanoff. He ended up dropping Natasha Romanoff in the different reality, in the same reality that where Hank Pym had ruined Fury's big week. Because that was the reality where all of the Avengers basically died except for Steve Rogers, and there was only him and Captain Marvel. And then we seen she arrived there at that point, and Nick Fury was like, "Hey, I know you're not my Black Widow, but and so they kind of went in there with that." So I thought that was some pretty crazy stuff. But the other thing is, man, well, there was another one. There was another one I was thinking of too. Obviously, the one thing I didn't talk about was Gamora. With Gamora and Tony Stark, where they got to that scene there on Nidavellir, where they had an Infinity Gauntlet being dipped. Now, what were they doing there with that gauntlet? Were they having it dipped to make one? Because we've seen the same thing just in Endgame when they went to Eitri and had him forge Stormbreaker. So what exactly was going on there? Because we obviously see that Tony was in that Sicarian suit, his Sicarian armor, and we've seen that the Gamora was there as well, and she had the same type of armor that Thanos had, and she was there on the quest to get all of the stones as well. Very interesting. Very interesting, because that's like, well, if you read the comics, if you've read the Infinity Gauntlet, that all kind of ties in together at some point too, because Gamora ended up having the gauntlet and got all the stones after Thanos had it. She stole it from him, and just like, but she couldn't really wield it either. But we see her there at the same point where they're getting a gauntlet, and we see that Tony Stark was obviously on Sakaar, and how did he get off? Was he there with her? Right? And like, what was going on there, and what exactly was Tony there with for? What, like, because then what is Gamora? What's Gamora's whole thing? Right? Because ultimately, if you're chasing down all those stones, you're probably looking to do good things that ultimately you're probably going to do some bad, right? I mean, that's kind of how power works. But some very interesting stuff there, very interesting questions that I have as far as some of that stuff. But then and it's great too, because Uatu shows up and he's like, not you, Stark. Oh man, I love it. But yeah, so, and the last thing that I wanted to talk about was when Peggy Carter gets there with Steve Rogers. They're in the Hydra Stomper, right? Is he really the one that's there behind the Hydra Stomper? I mean, they said the suit is there, but do we know that he is in there as well? And was he cryogenically frozen? And if he was, like I said, is like were they did they not make it out of that situation when Captain Carter went into that portal? Were they caught by Hydra at that point? Because we know that at that point they had Steve Rogers. Because remember, he fell down with the train and everything, and they ended up finding Steve at that facility, where that Hydra base where they went to, where they had the portal and everything. And Steve was there, and they were experimenting on him. I guess we would say similar to what they were doing with Bucky Barnes, but Bucky Barnes was there with Captain Carter. So, are we gonna get a? Is it gonna be like a Steve Rogers kind of Winter Soldier thing? Is he gonna end up getting a serum? Is he gonna end up getting all big and buff? Is he gonna become Hydra Cap? Now the thing is, I've already talked about this before. We already have Hydra Cap in the MCU anyway. They did that in Avengers Endgame when Steve Rogers was sitting there and he was fighting himself, and then he pulled the thing. Hey, Bucky's still alive, and then he knocked himself out. And then he used the little scepter. I guess he didn't knock himself out, but he hit him, and then he got the scepter and he tapped him with the scepter. That was it right there. That was it right there. Anyway. But yeah, some very interesting things there with the Captain Carter and Steve Rogers thing there. Because is he gonna end up being? Has he been cryogenically frozen? Has he been experimented on? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. All right. Let's see. All right. Mike says the wet episode was fire. Okay, where are we at? Big Pan. Again, Felicity, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Deviant Pork, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, the episode was mostly cool, but damn, the Infinity Stones make definitely no sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, what are their rules? What are their rules with with these things in the MCU? Like, we don't really know. We don't really know. They said that once the universe, universes broke walls, the perimeter extended beyond to cover the story's power. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Yeah, you need to find your yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I have to like I said, they're doing a lot of they're doing stuff differently here. So it is very interesting to see how they're what they're doing with what. Love that moment in Endgame, says Jared Dyer. Oh man, over easy mode. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well, man. Hope all's going well, Jay. Jay? Yeah. Let's see. Forget who ordered the calamari. Strange Supreme ate it. Yeah. One thing comes from an episode we were supposed to get. Yeah. I was like, yeah, come on. Tell us something we don't know. Let's see. Now I want to do a dad joke with pizza and Strange Supreme though. Yeah. Jenny accidentally timed someone out. Fell asleep and pushed a bell. It's all good, Mike Porter. I can still see him. It happens, man. It happens. Don't make me pull your wrench. But anyway, guys, that's really all I have as far as things I wanted to talk about. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. If you guys have anything else you want to discuss, let me know down in the comments below right now. But overall, I've got to say this series, like I said, I'm gonna have to give it a rewatch at some point. Let it simmer down, and then give them all a rewatch. Give them a binge rewatch here in a few weeks, maybe a month or so. maybe just before Eternals, maybe just before, maybe after Eternals, maybe just before Hawkeye, and see how I feel about them then. Um, but overall, it's been an interesting series. Not everything attention catching, just other little stuff, kind of just how would you say world building, just maybe showing you how different realities are and what the little things that make them different from this one and that one, and just some of that kinds of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're using a lot of these Disney Plus series in a way that is conducive to the films, where they are getting in there and just showing you little background stuff that you kind of probably don't need to see in a movie. Maybe you don't need to know at all, but it is stuff that is kind of opening and expanding this world out of the MCU. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it as well. Hey, let me know how you feel about it down in the comments below. Who am I to say, hey, you don't like it? You don't have to like it. Sure, I'm not going to say you got to like it. But like I said, for me, it's going to be overall to see what the payoff is with a lot of these series going on into the movies and things like that. Because I don't really feel like, I feel like would be, say, these series would be, say, maybe like an annual, right? As opposed to a whole like story arcs and stuff like that. I would say these are more like an annual. Like if you're reading the comic books, you got your ongoing series that you're kind of reading all year, and then you got maybe your annual that's telling a different story about these same characters at a different time. At a different point in their life, right? You're just kind of getting one of the stories. These are kind of like an annual. All of these series, if you ask me, right? But I kind of like what they've been doing with it. Is it going to be something that everybody's going to want to watch? Are they must see? I don't think so. Take and pick your medicine, just like with the movies. Just because, I mean, that's exactly the same way that the comic books are as well. You're not going to go out there and read every single comic book if you don't like every single one. Although some people read a lot of books that they don't like and continue to. Hey, whatever your thing is, man. Whatever gets your rocks off. But and it's not to say like not everything is for everybody, but there's obviously characters that you're gonna like and other characters that you're not gonna like. Like when I was a kid, I can guarantee you, I think I had a couple Doctor Strange books that I took and flipped through, and I'm like, nah, it doesn't look like anything I'm really into, and stuff like that. Even to this day, I'm not really into a whole lot of like magic and sorcery kind of stuff anyway. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. Even like Thor, I was never really like a big Thor fan either. Definitely getting into like Spider-Man, Captain America, X-Men, stuff like that. Definitely. But like I said, not everything is gonna. Not all these series are gonna be ones that are going to appeal to everybody. Like I said, my favorite of all these series so far has been WandaVision. Next coming in there, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Loki right after that. Like I said, this one I'm gonna have to take some time on. But Loki for me was, is third on my list there, and I've talked about some of the reasons why there as well. Let's see. Where's the Silver Surfer? Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that we'll probably meet him at some point here with, if not in this next phase of films, definitely very soon. We know we got the Fantastic Four already at some stage in production, if they already basically tossed it out there that they're doing it, and John Watts is going to be directing it. So they've obviously made some sort of progress on it. One thing I will say about What If is that the payoff was phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was okay, but like I kind of expected more. But I mean, I didn't like. I don't know. Like, because it's just the animated series. They don't want to. It's not going to be all the. It's not going to be all the rage. But I feel a lot of them were really just. They were kind of fast. They were kind of fast. You want a little bit more. But I do like how they all at least kind of tied together for telling this story. I guess they really should have kept that 10th episode in there, if you ask me. But I also do think that it's definitely a good place for them to be able to start from on next season as well. Finally letting you know what was going on with Tony and Gamora. Anita Valir. But anyway, that's all I have for today's video, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you don't. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.